Hello dear students, welcome to Devika's Commerce and Management Academy. So business organization, we are discussing about capital, types of capital we have seen in the last class. So when we can raise particular capital, three types of capital. One is short term capital, medium term capital and long term capital. Now today related to the sources of capital. So how we can get the capital, that is based on ownership, we'll see. So that sources of finance are the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, how we can accumulate the capital, how we can gain the capital, how we can get the capital, that we will see today. On the basis of ownership point of view, only two ways are there to get the capital. One is owners funds, means company owners funds. The other one is borrowed funds, means borrowed from others. Owners funds, always remember who are the owners of the company? Shareholders. Okay. Owners funds means company directors, company shareholders, when they contribute the capital, that is we call it as a owners funds. Okay. Now owners funds, we'll see in detail about the owners funds. Owner funds, we can get it from the equity shares most of the time. By issuing equity shares, whoever is purchasing the equity shares, they'll become the owners of the company, means part of the owners. And also from retained profits. Owners funds means from the equity capital and from retained capital, retained profits you can say. What is this retained profits? Retained profits means whenever company gets profit, that profit to some extent, to some amount of that profit is to be distributed to the shareholders in the form of dividend, debenture holders in the form of interest, and some portion they can just turn it to the funds. So that is retained profit. Means profit is retained, everything is not distributed, only few portion is distributed, the rest of the portion is transferred to the funds. So that is retained profit. That is also related to the owners only. Actually owners has to be distributed, but they are saying that let us keep that fund inside of the organization only for recycling, reusing. So in two ways we can get the owners funds. One is equity shares, the other one is retained profits. Remember always owners fund is for long period, for longer period and permanent basis. For longer period you can get it, and also it is permanent. You know that equity shares are always permanent only. Very rarely there is a chance to withdraw the equity shares, and it is in retained profits. Of course it will be in the business only. That is the reason it is always longer period and also permanent basis. It is very easy to raise the owners funds because owners are in the organization itself only. Whenever they want they can raise the funds, whenever they don't want just keep quiet, and they can withdraw also whenever excess amount is there. So that possibility is there. And one of the anyway, let us see the advantages or merits. Advantages, merits, both are same, right? So we'll see the advantages of owners funds. First thing is that permanent capital. This is permanent capital. Need not to worry, tomorrow they may withdraw, tomorrow they may demand for withdrawing of the amount, nothing, no worries are there. So this is permanent capital without any hesitation. In long run they can use, the company can use the owners funds. So this is permanent, and also large amount is possible because all the owners are in the business company itself only. Whenever they want, we want this much of capital, so they have a good understanding, they have a good relations, they have a good trust also, no need of any securities also not required. So simply they can raise maximum capital, whatever is possible. That is why we say large amount is possible, large amount of capital we can raise it without much delay. And also control over working. Who are the company owners? As I told you, shareholders. Shareholders means equity shareholders only. Equity shareholders are having the right to vote, right to control, they are the owners. So that is why control over working. When equity shareholders are more, when they are distributing, when they are accumulating, when they are contributing more capital, then automatically they'll have command. They have a right to elect, they have the right to participate in meetings, they have right to express everything. So that is why controlling is also possible, control over the working, and no need for security. Owners funds, when owners are giving capital, there is no need of any securities. If it is outsiders like A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, someone is giving you capital, then definitely you need to show some securities, some fixed assets you have to show, then only they are going to give you the funds. But here it is not required, no need of security, security is not required, so easily you can get the capital. And better credit worthiness means you can get the capital easily, credit you can get it when you have demand, when you want capital. When you don't want capital, immediately you can just dispose it, you can just withdraw it. So that possibility is there. When there is utilization, when there is requirement, demand it. Not required, withdraw it. So that kind of facility is there. That is why we say better credit worthiness. This is owners funds is always better. So these are the advantages or merits. Now if you see what are the disadvantages, what are the demerits, what are the limitations, only simply two. One is diffusion of control. Diffusion of control means more people are going to have more control on this organization because many people are contributing capital. So they all are owners. So there is a possibility of diffusion of control. Control may be losing because many people are having right, that possibility is there. Another demerit is that idle funds. When you get more capital, what do? When there is no use, so you can't return it immediately. On that you have to pay every year some interest, dividend you have to pay. So then automatically that funds are useless. Idle funds it is, when use is not there. These are the only two demerits. Two demerits and we have 5 merits. Anyway, always I would say owners funds is always advisable and easy to raise, easy to handle. No need to show any securities, it is a permanent one. So on the whole, owners funds are always good where there is a possibility. Second one is that borrowed funds. Borrowed funds means taken funds from outsiders, owners funds inside only, borrowed from outsiders. Who are the outsiders? How we can get these borrowed funds? Mainly from the public. You can get these funds from the public and from commercial banks, and also loans from financial institutions, and also you can take debentures. Debentures also we can say it as outsiders funds only. Shares are insiders, okay, owners, but debentures are outsiders. Liability, you have to pay it. So by public, from the commercial banks, and loans from financial institutions. FI means financial institutions, and by issuing debentures we can get the funds from outsiders, borrowed funds. And remember always, this is temporary, not permanent. This is permanent. Which one? Owners is permanent, but this is temporary and for a specific period. Emergency is there, 1 year we want, okay. So for that temporary period, particular period we are issuing it, and for a particular purpose. After the purposes we can just give it back to the people. And whenever we are issuing these borrowed funds, it is always mandatory to show some securities. Company fixed assets, something we have to show it as securities for those funds. Then only those people are going to come and take funds. They are going to provide funds by seeing the securities, what is showing by the company. Securities are must. And whenever we get borrowed funds, on that we are going to pay interest only, not anything else. The relation between the company and owner is like agent and principal. They are not owners, they don't have any rights. Simply they will provide the funds, on that they are going to get the interest, not anything else. Okay. So now let us see the merits. The first thing is that no interference. No interference. Why no interference? They are outsiders who have given the funds, outsiders. They need not to interfere in the organization activities. Whatever funds they have given, on that they are going to get interest. That's it. Nothing is there to interfere with the company. Another thing is that flexibility is there. Outsiders, na? Outsiders funds. When we want, we'll issue on temporary basis on that particular purpose. Then after that we don't want. We can just return it back. We will issue the funds when requirement is there for a particular period, for a particular purpose. So that kind of flexibility is there. Need not to keep it with us. We are not responsible for long period also. And it reduces tax liability. Owners funds is taxable, but this is not taxable. When we are issuing any kind of sources, on that tax rebate will be there, because we are using it and getting from others and giving the interest. So that is tax liability will be less. And fixed rate of interest. Remember that whenever we get loan from outsiders, there will be a fixed rate of interest. That is only we are going to pay to the outsiders. Outsiders means all these things. So fixed rate of interest we are going to pay. They have no other right to interfere with the company. They have no rights to participate in the voting or vote to write, and activities of the organization, nothing is there. Simply they are going to get the fixed rate of interest that we need to pay. That's it. These are the merits. Now if you see the demerits, only two demerits are there. Requirement of securities, it is one of the demerit. Demerit, disadvantage you can say, or limitation you can say. Whenever we want to take outsiders funds, definitely you have to show the security, requirement of security. Suppose say I want 5 lakhs of amount from the outsiders. For 5 lakh, I must show some securities, some fixed assets as securities for that 5 lakh rupees. Then only it is possible. Then only it is possible to get the funds from outsiders. Then only possibility is there for the outsiders to invest the amount in the organization, because of that 5 lakh amount of securities what we are showing it. So that is main disadvantage. We have to show the securities. And next one is that fixed liability. Fixed liability, it is once if you get funds from outsiders, it is fixed. Liability is fixed. You can't do anything. You have to pay whether you are using it or may not be using. And on that you have to pay the interest. So that is why it is another disadvantage. You can take a screenshot or write down. In a nutshell, I am giving you this table so that you can grasp in your tiny mind easily. Without much difficulty, you can understand this concept. Let me give you a recap. To get the funds, we will have two kinds of funds, owners funds and outsiders funds. Owners funds means who are the company related people, generally issuing equity shares and taking from retained profits. So this we call it as owners funds. So when we take owners funds, first thing is that equity and retained profits. It's longer and permanent. We have these are the merits and demerits. And outsiders funds are borrowed funds. So that is generally from the public and commercial banks, loan from financial institution, debentures, issuing the debentures. These are all outsiders, or you can say borrowed funds. This is temporary and this is for particular purpose. Merits are 4, demerits we have 2. That's it. So this is also one of the important topic. You must understand about any organization activities and how the organization is running. All these things you will come to know once if you have a grip over this topic. The coming classes will see more in depth. Till that period, what do? Don't ignore the previous classes. Just before exams, never study. Throughout the year you study. Before exams, just you have to revise. That's it. Check out the playlist and stay connected. Don't forget to share these videos. Good luck.